about the brain cells just for a little bit to kind of talk about what happens after a brain injury. So, brain cells, also known as neurons, they are comprised of a cell with appendages that come off of it, the dendrites and the axon. And to me, when I look at them, it reminds me of a tree, of branches going up into the sky, and then you have the cell, and then you have the roots at the bottom of the tree. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on after a brain injury. You can have those axons and connections can get torn. They can be stretched. Then there is swelling, which changes the permeability of the cell's membrane, and you can have release of chemicals in spaces that are not supposed to be, at levels that are not supposed to be, and that can trigger the immune system to respond and the blood-brain barrier to change, making it less effective in preventing chemicals and solutes into the brain. And then there is the residual leftover free radicals that are floating around. These are single electrons that are looking for friends and buddies. They don't like to be single, and sometimes they grab onto the wrong electrons. And one of the ways that we can combat some of this is to eat a nutritious diet full of antioxidants to kind of combat those free radicals and to support the blood-brain barrier, which has been connected to the gut biome. And so that's why nutrition is so important when it comes to supporting the health of your brain and its healing. I'm a big fan of the whole foods plant-based diet, and I have many reasons to be. I've been following the nutritional lifestyle for the past 12 years. One of the reasons why I follow it and support it is comes back to my background as a cardiology nurse practitioner, and anything that lowers cholesterol and blood pressure and your risk for diabetes, I was a fan of and still am. So a whole foods plant-based diet is low in saturated fats. So that's going to decrease your risk of heart attacks, strokes, and transischemic attacks, which are also known as mini strokes and TIAs. So it's real important to lower your cholesterol and to prevent these types of events that can happen. And after a brain injury, the last thing you want to do is add on to it a stroke or a TIA. So plant-based, whole foods plant-based diet would help you with that. It's also a diet that is low in sugar and salt and oils, and that will help you control your blood pressure if you have high blood pressure, and lower your risk of diabetes, and then therefore lower your risk for strokes and TIAs. The whole foods plant-based diet is also low in preservatives and chemicals. And earlier I talked about after a brain injury, you have increased permeability of the blood-brain barrier. There's free radicals floating around and cells that have died that your body's trying to clear out. So after a brain injury, you really want to eat the most clean, nutritious foods as you can, in an effort not to add additional burden to your brain, and its systems where it's trying to clean out the debris and the chemicals and heal. So that's why I recommend like avoiding foods that are high in preservatives and chemical compounds. The other thing is the whole foods plant-based diet promotes gut biome. I'm not sure if you've heard about the researchers looking at the gut biome, but it is a it's essentially you want a gut that has healthy, positive bacteria in it versus unhealthy bacteria. And researchers have been looking at this from multiple angles. And the gut biome actually can affect the brain. There's a cranial nerve known as the vagus nerve that is connected to the chest and abdomen. And it turns out via the vagus nerve, the stomach and intestines talk to the brain like two little sisters at a sleepover. Very chatty and very close. And so, more and more, we're finding out how nutrition impacts our mental health and our brain health. And a whole foods plant-based diet, which is high in fiber, it creates a healthy gut biome with those with the good bacteria. And the other thing, like I had talked about earlier, a whole foods plant-based diet is high in antioxidants, something you will need after a brain injury because of the increased levels of free radicals. And some of these antioxidants that are helpful are vitamin A, C, and E, which you find in veggies and fruits, and zinc and phytochemicals. Um, all of these nutritious things and vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, help decrease the chronic inflammation that I had talked about earlier that is triggered by a brain injury. And it can also help improve cognitive functioning. So, these are just some of the reasons why I recommend the plant based diet. I really love being on it. I've felt a lot better, and I just wanted to share it with you. So, you can make the decision if this is the best nutrition plan for you.